Success Unlimited magazine proudly presents another in a continuing series of Success Unlimited magic cassettes, created and produced to help you change your life for the better. And now, your 4-Minute Miles.
During 3,200 years of competition in track and field events, no human being had ever run the mile in 4 minutes or less. For hundreds of years, coaches and athletes throughout the world knew that the 4-minute mile was an impossible dream. The 4-minute mile barrier would never be broken. But in May of 1954, a young English medical student by the name of Roger Bannister proved to the world that there had never been a physical barrier. The barrier was in the minds of men. Although the importance of physical conditioning is obvious, it wasn't physical conditioning alone which enabled Roger Bannister to run the mile in 3 minutes, 59 and 4/10 seconds at that time. It was mental conditioning. The mental barrier had finally been broken. Now, despite the fact that this amazing feat had never been achieved in over 3,200 years, just 46 days later, Australian John Landy again proved the power of the human mind by running the mile in an even faster time of 3 minutes, 58 seconds. As continued proof of what can be accomplished once a mental barrier has been eliminated, since 1954, nearly 200-mile races have been run in less than 4 minutes. If a complete history of athletics is ever written, the pages will be filled with examples of achievement as a result of positive mental attitude, the result of applying the power of the human mind. Not only in athletics, but in all areas of human endeavor, it has been mental attitude, mental dedication, mental power, which has fostered success. All achievement, regardless of how important or unimportant it may appear, has been the result not of circumstances, but effective utilization of the power of the human mind. Conversely, nearly all failure has been the result of either negative application or lack of application of this immeasurable power. It was mental power and mental dedication which produced the electric light bulb, the radio, the automobile, the telephone, television, and every other convenience we enjoy today. The power of the human mind produced antibiotics, which has saved hundreds of thousands of lives. It is mental power that makes men wealthy, that builds friendships, that makes happy marriages. It is this same power which has built thousands of successful businesses. It is this same power which has enabled salesmen and other professional people to increase their earnings to any point which they desire. And it is this same power which will enable you to find the fulfillment in your life, to attain whatever it is you desire. Although only a relative few will ever actually run a 4-minute mile, you can establish equally important personal goals. And then by adopting the right mental attitude, by employing the unlimited power of your mind, you can immediately alter the course of your life. You can know that your hopes and dreams are already reality. Your failures of yesterday will become your successes of tomorrow. And you can also realize that the obstacles you face are not insurmountable physical deterrents to accomplishment, but merely mental barriers, which can be broken by adopting a more positive approach, by believing you can and will achieve. There are many keys which open many doors. The problem with most of us is that we spend an entire lifetime passively searching for the key which opens the door to achievement, when this key has been available to us since the dawning of the first day of creation. But before considering the key, let's take a look at achievement. Achievement, or success, can mean many things to different people. For some, it can be financial security or obtaining wealth. It can be finding the right job or being successful in a present occupation. It can be a happy marriage or perfect health. For a salesman, it can be doubling or tripling his sales. It can be the well-being of a friend or loved one. It can be all of these things and many more. Achievement is the realization of any goal, regardless of how large or small that goal might be. Again, achievement is the realization of any goal, regardless of how large or small that goal might be. The person who leads a fulfilled life will actively seek challenges and opportunities for achievement. He will set many major goals which will become his personal 4-minute miles. In reaching your major goals, in running your personal 4-minute miles, you'll first establish and then reach many lesser or minor goals. These lesser or minor goals often become the most important, for it is through attaining minor goals that you develop the mindset necessary for continued success. You develop the proper mental attitude. You gradually become aware of the personally beneficial results of positive thought, and you consciously begin using thought power control as your unfailing means to achievement. And herein lies the key. The key to achievement is thought power control. The key to achievement, the key to obtaining whatever it is you desire, is thought power control. This key has been given to us by philosophers of all ages. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said, "A man's life is what his thoughts make of it." Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "A man is what he thinks about all day long." In his book, The Magic of Believing, Claude M. Bristol gives dozens of examples of achievement through thought power control. But the key was best given to us by the greatest performing example of all. Jesus said, "If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth." These were not idle words, nor was this an idle promise. It was a revelation of one of the greatest laws of creation, one of the greatest laws of nature. And it was not a qualified revelation. It was an absolute revelation. Jesus did not say, "If thou canst believe, some things are possible to him that believeth." He said, "If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth." What a wonderful opportunity this revelation offers to you. The opportunity to understand this belief power, this mind power, and the opportunity to use this power to avail yourself of all the good you are intended to have. Through your constant practice of thought power control, you'll become more and more aware of the immeasurable power of the human mind, and you will use this power to your advantage. You'll learn to train your mind to produce only those thoughts which are positive, which bring beneficial results, which help you obtain your desires. Your use of thought power in exercising control over your destiny will be far more effective if you develop an understanding of what thought power is, if you can partially comprehend the magnitude of the force which thought power sets in motion, if you can visualize how thought power operates, and if you know how to use this great power to obtain whatever it is you desire. Understanding of what it is, how powerful it is, how it operates, and how it can be used is the first step toward personal fulfillment. Although it is not the purpose of this message to impose any spiritual or religious belief on any person, in developing an understanding of what belief power or mind power is, it would be sheer folly not to include man's relationship with his Creator as essential to our understanding. There are few who doubt the existence of a supreme being, or that man was created in the image of this being. Although interpretation of this belief is a personal matter, its acceptance can serve as a basis for defining thought power. Its acceptance can also be an overwhelming revelation, so much so that most of us welcome an analogy in order to understand its implications. If we were to take billions of buckets of water from the ocean and distribute them throughout the world, the water in each bucket would remain identical in all respects to the water remaining in the ocean. The chemical structure would remain the same. The physical properties would remain the same, and the potential power would remain the same, all on an individualized basis. And yet the ocean would not be depleted in any way. The ocean would remain all-powerful. The individual buckets of water would remain in the image of the original source. The original source would be sharing of itself. For those who believe that man is created in the image of a supreme being who shared of himself in creating man, it would logically follow that within each human being there is a related power shared by the original source on an individualized basis. The conclusion that this power is thought power or mind power would also logically follow. Acceptance of this premise leads us to the next phase of our understanding, the magnitude of this power and how it operates. Research has proven that the human brain may be compared to a computer-type mechanism containing over 10 billion electronic cells. Such a device is almost beyond comprehension. It's estimated that several million cubic feet would be required to house such a mechanism, and 1 billion watts of electric power would be needed for its operation. A great deal of work has been done in determining the intakeability of this fantastic machine. And as we gradually attain a deeper understanding, more and more researchers are beginning to believe that there is a definite relationship between its output power and thought power, or mind power. We know that thought produces a powerful force. Just as other forces are set in motion in an orderly manner by mechanisms of nature, is it possible that the brain is the mechanism, the generator, the power unit, which mind uses to set thought force in motion? By making this assumption, we can more effectively utilize this power because we can visualize the way in which the thought power process is working. In picturing this process, we differentiate between mind and brain. Let us think of mind as the something within us which thinks, feels, and senses, and desires or directs. Now let us consider the brain as a power unit servant of mind, which is set in operation by the instruction or direction of mind, and through which the individually shared original source power flows and is projected, causing the thing desired to become a reality. As an example, your mind says you will achieve or you will obtain a certain thing. Your obedient power unit is turned on by this instruction. Your individually shared power flows through your unit and is projected as force. The force either directly causes the instruction to become reality or informs you what action you can take to attain your goal. Because of the nature of this force, only doubt or lack of belief or lack of personal action can prevent this mind instruction from becoming reality. A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. A man is what he thinks about all day long. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. You can achieve what you want to achieve. You can be what you want to be. You can possess what you want to possess. You can run your 4-minute miles. Your awareness of what thought power is, its magnitude, and how it operates is your first step toward personal achievement and personal fulfillment. This awareness can be enhanced in many ways, particularly by reading some of the great books written on the subject. The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale, Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz, The Success System That Never Fails by W. Clement Stone, and those portions of the Bible which pertain to this subject. But by far the most important way to enhance your understanding is to immediately begin putting the power to work for you, to prove to yourself that thought power does work, to demonstrate that you too have been given an immeasurable ability to receive all the good you are willing to accept. If you will advance the cassette tape to the end of side 1, on side 2 you will learn how you can begin now to utilize your personal thought power, how you can obtain your desires, how you can enrich your life, beginning at this very moment. Any person who becomes proficient in any field does so by specifically defining what it is he wishes to accomplish, and then adopting a training or conditioning program which begins with one exercise at a time. The almost unbelievable results you'll obtain by immediately beginning your personal thought power training program will more than amaze you. You will prove to yourself that thought power control will work for you, just as it has worked for thousands of other successful people. Immediately upon completion of this cassette, specifically determine one goal you wish to attain. Your first goal might be an accomplishment, or a possession you want to acquire, or a business objective, or one of the many desires you now have. Specifically determine one thing you want to do, or one thing you want to have happen, or one thing you want to own. Since you may be just beginning the practice of thought power control, keep your first objective fairly simple. The big objectives will come later. Now, in your own words, write this goal on a small card in a positive way. Use a positive statement such as, I am attaining, or I am receiving. The moment your goal is written, your personal power unit will begin operating and will project the force which will either directly cause the thing desired to become reality or inform you what action you can take to attain your goal. Now unto your goal write the words, "If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth." The next step is to calmly and confidently picture this objective as already being reality. If it is money you desire, picture yourself receiving the specific amount of money. If it is a possession, picture yourself enjoying the possession. If it is an accomplishment, picture the results of your accomplishment. And as you picture this reality of your desire, at the same time, mentally visualize unlimited power flowing through your power unit and being projected as unlimited force. This visualization will immediately strengthen your confidence and belief in the reality of your desire. The next step is to repeat your mind instruction by reading aloud what you've written at least 3 times each day. Your card should be read aloud the first thing each morning, at least once during the day. And since during sleep your mind servant is free to operate without interference, your card should be read aloud just before retiring. Each time, as you audibly repeat what is written, visualize unlimited force in operation and picture your goal as already happening. Above all, confidently believe in the reality of your request. Do not for one moment permit any doubt to enter your mind. Impart only positive mind instructions. And this brings us to the importance of thought discipline as an essential part of thought power control. In understanding the importance of thought discipline, it is necessary to realize that most of us since early childhood have developed undisciplined or negative thought habits. These habits must be broken and replaced with those which are beneficial if we are to claim the good in life, which is rightfully ours, if we are to lead a truly fulfilled life. It is also necessary to visualize your power unit as totally impersonal. Your unit will perform only as directed. It will not determine what instruction is good or what instruction is bad, nor will it ignore negative or detrimental instructions any more than it will ignore those which are beneficial or positive. It is up to mind to make the determination and supply only those instructions which bring beneficial results. Positive instructions will always produce positive reality, and negative instructions will always produce negative reality. Why is it that some people seem to have everything they want and achieve everything they desire, and others seem to have little or nothing and continually fail? The difference is not usually a result of circumstances or a difference in opportunity or a difference in the availability of good. The difference is in the instruction which mind is giving. The difference is control of thoughts or thought discipline. You must continually know exactly what it is you're thinking. You must be aware of each thought. You must be aware of its positive or negative character and whether it is beneficial or detrimental. When you find yourself thinking a negative thought or giving a negative instruction, you consciously change the thought or instruction to make it positive. As an example, when you find yourself thinking a thought such as, "It's raining outside, it's a miserable day," before the thought is even completed, you consciously turn it around so it comes out something like this: "What a beautiful day yesterday was, and what a beautiful day it will be when the sun begins shining." What a difference this practice can make in our sense of well-being, in our enjoyment of life, in our total attitude. Our attitude will determine whether we are happy, well-adjusted individuals living life to its fullest, or miserable creatures expecting the worst from every situation. And this attitude is determined by whether most of our thoughts are positive or whether most are negative. Our attitude is the result of our thoughts. A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. At times, it will seem extremely difficult to convert every thought from negative to positive. The inspiration method, the physical object method, and the countenance method are 3 of the many ways in which persisting negative thought may be eliminated and replaced by those which bring beneficial results. At one time or another, we've all come across a poem, a quotation, or some other inspirational message which has had some special meaning. To utilize the inspiration method of thought conversion, memorize your selection. And when a negative thought seems to have control, repeat your selection as many times as necessary. It will work for you as it has worked for others. Why do people place confidence in lucky charms or physical objects which are carried as good luck symbols? The answer is not that the physical object can do anything or cause anything to happen. The answer is that the object becomes a point of thought focus. By directing your thoughts toward a physical object, you eliminate other thoughts at that particular moment. In using the physical object method, when a negative thought persists, pick up a pen or pencil, or your personal good luck symbol, or any other object, and concentrate on that object. You may even audibly describe the object to yourself as a means of employing the senses of sight, hearing, and touch to assist you in developing a different train of thought. The story is told of the small boy who one morning asked his father if he was feeling well. The father answered that he was feeling great. The boy's reply was, "Why don't you tell your face about it?" By far, one of the most effective and easiest ways to convert negative thoughts to positive is to smile. This is the countenance method of thought conversion. There is no such thing as a gloomy smile, and you can't have a gloomy thought with a smile on your face. Above all, to eliminate negative thoughts, don't worry and don't complain. Worry produces negative forces, is a demonstration of lack of faith in your own ability, and has never solved a single problem. To test the futility of worry, go back exactly 1 year from the day you're listening to this message and try to specifically determine what you were worried about at that time. It will be practically impossible. And it will be impossible to remember a year from now what you worry about today. It just isn't worth the time and mental effort. Complaining also cements the problem and produces negative forces. A lot of people quit complaining when they finally come to the realization that half the people they complain to aren't interested or don't care. And the other half figure they are finally getting what's coming to them anyway. It's a pretty good philosophy. Elimination of negative thought, elimination of doubt, total belief must become an essential part of reaching your first objective and of all mind instructions. Remember, the power unit only obeys, it doesn't determine. If there is any element of doubt, mind is actually giving 2 instructions. As an example, in reaching your first objective, you are positively stating in writing that you will achieve or you will obtain. If there is any element of doubt, your instruction will be that you will achieve or you will obtain maybe. The maybe, or the element of doubt, results in conflicting instructions. You will and you will not. The obedient power unit now projects 2 forces. One that says you will, and one that says you will not. These opposing forces meet head-on, and a power stalemate results. Nothing happens. Whatever mind instructs, mind must fervently and confidently believe. After you have reached your first objective, you will have proven to yourself the effectiveness of thought power control. You will be anxious to make thought power control your unfailing means to greater achievement. At this time, list everything you desire. Specifically define your 4-minute mile objectives and your minor or lesser goals. Set your sights on all the good that is available to you. Don't be hesitant. List everything you want, and then repeat each step you've used in attaining your first objective. Picture each achievement as completed. Visualize each possession as already yours. Picture the reality of each objective on your list. Picture the thought power process in operation. Read your list aloud at least 3 times each day, and above all, fervently believe. You'll be amazed at the results. But before you can obtain these results, you must decide exactly what it is you want. You must define your goals. And herein lies one of the principal deterrents to achievement: lack of direction or lack of definition of goals. No person would think of taking an automobile trip across the United States over unfamiliar highways without using a road map, without deciding exactly where he wanted to go and what highway he wanted to take to reach his destination. And yet so many of us go through life without a road map, without defining what we want from life, without any purpose to our travel. The person without objectives, the person who fails to define his goals, is on an aimless cross-country trip through life, accepting whatever fate might be his. To achieve, to possess, we must define our objectives, and we must be specific. A general definition of goals will bring general results, but a specific definition will bring specific results. As an example, a person may want to earn more money. To merely say, "I want to earn more money," is wishing. but to specifically state the amount of additional money that will be earned offers the power unit the opportunity to perform more effectively and enhances the ability to picture the reality of the objective. Again, after reaching your first trial objective, specifically define all the things you want, and you will receive. And now for a word of caution about the use of thought power control. Unless you are willing to take action, to give more effort, to work harder than ever before, expect only limited results from your use of this great power. Many of your desires will come to you directly as a result of thought power force. No effort other than thought effort will be required of you. But in many cases, you'll be shown what action you must take, what effort you must give, what work you must perform to bring about the reality of your desires. If you're not willing to take this action, to give this effort, to work when directed, your own inactivity will dissipate the projected force. But if you are willing to take this action, to give this effort, you will be daily inspired, and each of your desires will become the reality you seek. In putting thought power control into practice, you're dealing with natural law. Your recognition of other natural laws will greatly enhance your ability to realize your own personal potential. In recognizing these laws, there are certain steps you can take as a means of developing the total person within you, as a means of achieving complete fulfillment. These steps are offered for your evaluation. They may be considered as your 10 steps forward. First, develop your own personal awareness of your relationship with all creation and the creative source. Second, get involved with books or other material which will help you develop a deeper understanding. Several have been suggested. Third, do something for another person every day. Just as each bucket of water taken from the ocean is identical to its source, so is it identical to every other bucket of water. The thing you do daily for another person may be only a smile or a word of encouragement, but whatever it is, by virtue of the act, you are attracting the benefits of the natural law which makes all men one with each other and one with the original source. Fourth, associate only with those persons who will help you become a total person. The negative person will only encourage you to continue negative habits, but the positive person will become your valuable ally. Fifth, clearly define each thing you desire or want to achieve. Although your needs and desires will change during different stages of life, a clear definition of objectives is always the first step toward attainment. Sixth, measure success in terms of your own values. Do not be too concerned about the opinions of others. It is your life and your values which matter most. Seventh, follow your hunches. Your hunches are nothing less than your power unit force telling you how to achieve your desires. Follow your hunches. They are an answer to mind instruction. Eighth, save 10% of all you earn. One of the greatest deterrents to a positive life is financial insecurity. And yet in a land where wealth and availability of wealth is commonplace, only a few persons out of every 100 ever achieve financial security. The wealth fund you create through a systematic savings program will grow at an unbelievable pace and will give you a feeling of security which will positively affect your mental attitude. Wealth never attracts wealth, but the mental attitude change which comes from acquiring even a degree of wealth will always generate opportunities for acquiring even greater wealth. Ninth, give a fixed percent of all you earn. Although many fortunes have been built as a result of this practice alone, the reason for giving is an appreciation for having received. The act itself is an act of gratitude, and for this reason, you will always receive direction as to where your gift will have the most meaning. You will also find that your gift will always be repaid many times over. And the 10th step forward is practice thanksgiving. Convey your thanks to those persons and those sources which make it possible for you to reach each goal. As you begin now to put into operation the principles which have been given on this cassette, realize that you possess an amazing, immeasurable power. As you continue to avail yourself of this power, you will quickly find that its use will become a new way of life, and you will confidently face each day with the expectancy of receiving. You will welcome each of life's challenges, for you will know that you too and run your 4-minute mile.